If you're trying to buy your dream home in Brisbane, Melbourne, or Sydney and feel priced out of your dream suburb, then this is for you. Check out this Brisbane loophole. Chandler is 14 k's from the Brisbane CBD. The median house price is $2.87 million. Capalaba is 17 kilometres from the CBD. The median house price is $887,000. So you can be 3 kilometres further away from the city, but be nearly $1.98 million cheaper. Why does a house in Melbourne, 10 k's east of the CBD, cost around $3.1 million, while one 10 kilometres west is closer to $950,000? It's a similar situation in Sydney if you compare Fairlight and Arncliffe. All right, one's right on the beach, but there's a 96% difference in price though, and you're a similar distance from the city. So if you're seeing prices soar in your current suburb and thinking you're never going to crack the market, it's okay. There's a solution: sister suburbs. I'm going to show you how this works city by city.
Welcome to the Buying Your First Home podcast, your personal guide through the Australian housing market. Here we tackle the big questions and the small details that come up when buying your first home. From financial prep to finding the right neighbourhood, we're here to ensure that you've got all the knowledge at your fingertips. So let's take the first step towards unlocking the door to your new home.
What are sister suburbs? Sister suburbs are basically the under-the-radar cousins of famous suburbs. They share pretty much the same features, same distance to the CBD, similar basic amenities, but come with a much friendlier price tag. The only thing is they don't have the same built-in prestigious reputation as some of their bigger brother suburbs. And this is where you can save big money. You can think of them as less famous but equally well-located neighbours. They share the same core location, but due to various factors which we'll get into, you can buy them for potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars less, even in some cases millions. Now, why is this such a smart move? Because it's all about strategic property buying. It's all about recognising that the traditional approach, like mum and dad probably did, just targeting the most hyped suburbs isn't always the smartest move, especially in today's market. What if you could find a location without automatically paying top dollar? This is where sister suburbs concept really comes alive. Basically, it's a more refined approach to location analysis. We all want to be close to the city, near urban centres, but with escalating prices, pushing people further and further out, this strategy becomes key. Sister suburbs offer a strategic alternative. They allow you to stay close to where you want to be, but at a much lower price point. The key here is understanding that suburb value isn't solely determined by distance from the CBD. It's obviously more complex by that, influenced by a range of factors. Consider these elements that contribute to different price amounts. Firstly, housing mix. The prevalence of apartments versus detached housing impacts overall suburb levels. Local amenities and infrastructure. Access to retail precincts, dining options, and green spaces also influence property values. Being near the beach, parks, or having a really nice view is obviously going to come for a premium. And educational catchments. Known popular and large schools can be a big driver for family buyers. And lastly, connectivity. Efficient public transport and road networks really help out the commute times. But sister suburbs, that's where you're going to find the sweet spot. You're going to still be getting that core locational advantage, similar commute times, you're in the same general area, but you're strategically avoiding that inflated prestige headline of that suburb. All right, so let's talk about Brisbane, because honestly, Brisbane is, I guess, the sister suburb city to Sydney and Melbourne. But as a city, the sister suburb concept really comes alive in Brisbane. In Brisbane, it's not just about saving money, although you definitely can. It's about making a lifestyle change and finding incredible value at the same time. You can actually dial in whatever Brisbane lifestyle you want. You can have the acreage dream, suburban convenience, village charm, and find a sister suburb that delivers without that crazy price tag of having the brand name version. But it is about being strategic and finding the right suburb for you and your needs. Let me break down a couple of great examples to show you exactly what I mean. Robinson versus Banyo. Now, I know Banyo means toilet in Spanish, but it's an actual suburb in Brisbane, and it's actually not bad. It's pretty close to the airport. But think of it as comparing prestige leafy living versus village convenience. Both Banyo and Robinson are about 11 kilometres from the city. The commute's pretty similar, but they're completely different suburbs. Robinson is leafy streets, established suburb, big blocks, architecturally designed homes. It's pretty prestigious. It's really nice. Great schools, quiet streets. It's your classic Brisbane upscale family vibe. And because of that, the median house price is over $2 million. Now, Banyo, same distance, but totally different feel. Imagine a friendly village vibe, local shops, cafes where people actually chat. There's a bit more going on, but it's also a bit more relaxed. Banyo's also got a train station straight to the city, and you're practically at the airport. So it's a massive plus for anyone that travels a lot. It's definitely more community focused. There's less fancy homes, more easy living. And also as a result, the median house price in Banyo is only $985,000. That's 104% price difference. That's like over $1 million saved for basically the same distance to the city. Now, obviously, Robinson has a prestige factor and Banyo has different sort of lifestyle, but also you're saving on the money there. So that's where you need to consider these things and what's more important for your family. Next up, let's talk about Chandler versus Capalaba. And this one's all about land size. Chandler, acreage living, pure Brisbane lifestyle. Median block is 2.5 acres, even sometimes way bigger. It's all about sprawling estates, room to breathe, maybe a house or two in the back paddock, luxury, semi-rural dream living close to the city. But the median house price, $2.8 million. Then you got Capalaba right next door. Classic, solid suburban Brisbane. Family-friendly streets, parks, schools, shopping centres, all the normal stuff. Standard block sizes, nothing huge, but the median house price in Capalaba is $887,000. That's a $1.9 million gap, 224% difference. You could literally buy 3 houses in Capalaba for what you pay for one in Chandler. If you need that amazing sprawling land, Chandler's amazing, but like not many first home buyers are going to have that sort of budget. Plus Capalaba gets you same general area for a third of the price. And I guess with that small mortgage, you can have a better lifestyle. So you get what I mean, right? It's definitely about lifestyle-driven buying and potentially looking at what's more important for you and your family. These are obviously extreme examples, but if you live in a certain area, don't be afraid to look a little bit further out, or in Brisbane, potentially look on the other side of town, because there can be a bunch of other opportunities in a better price point for the same sort of property. All right, Sydney, let's dive into some sister suburbs here, because Sydney is a classic case of pretty crazy prices, right? But the thing is, you can crack the Sydney market if you're smart about it. It's kind of about understanding Sydney, and a lot of the price is tied up in the prestige in that Sydney harbour view, obviously. But if you're willing to look a little bit beyond the obvious hotspots, then you can find suburbs that can give you a ton of the Sydney lifestyle without that insane multi-millionaire price tag. Now, again, I'm looking specifically at suburbs that are, similar distance to the city. So I assume you're probably working out of the city, but there's definitely hundreds, maybe millions of dollars in difference in some of these prices. Arncliffe versus Fairlight. This is a classic Sydney showdown. There's sort of northern beaches prestige versus southern suburbs bayside view. But the crazy thing is they're both 10Ks from the city. Fairlight's one of those iconic northern beaches. Manly, Ferry, Sydney beaches, laid back vibe, that sort of thing. It's the Sydney dream. There are crazy harbour views, but you're going to pay for that postcode. Arncliffe is a totally different vibe. It's Sydney South, right near the airport, but hear me out, it's got a pretty good up-and-coming vibe. Heaps of cool cafes and shops, restaurants, and it's on the edge of Botany Bay. All right, it's obviously not the beach, but you got the water views, there's parks, and it's pretty amazing and really close to the city. But again, this is illustrative. Let's talk prices, because this is the idea, and this is where people get really caught up. The median house price in Fairlight is $3.4 million. Ugh. Well, if you can afford it, that's amazing. But Arncliffe, it's closer to $1.7 million. So it's 96% cheaper. You could save $1.7 million by living the same distance to the city and not paying that beachside premium. Now, you could say beachside dreaming is your absolute goal, and that's fine. But again, the point is maybe it's not Fairview, it's the suburb along and the sister suburb to that if you're looking for that Northern Beaches vibe. All right, staying in Sydney, let's check out the inner west, Strathfield versus Enfield. These are practically neighbours, they're inner west rivals. Both are around 12 to 13 kilometres from the CBD. Strathfield has a really interesting mix. It's got a bunch of those huge Federation houses, some massive blocks, really nice schools. It's got a pretty cool trophy suburb feel. And the price tag's similar match. Enfield is literally minutes away. It's definitely a bit of a hidden gem. It's still inner west, still leafy, got still good access to everything, but house a bit smaller, blocks a bit more modest, and maybe not quite as mansiony. But looking at the price check, Strathfield's inner west trophy homes, the median house price is $3.8 million. Enfield, on the other hand, is only $2.3 million. That's a 68% difference for suburbs that are just a stone's throw away. And that's the point of these sister suburbs. You could be living in Enfield, you still get access to all the schools in Strathfield, but you're getting quite a big discount there to not pay for the Strathfield postcode. So Sydney sister suburbs, they're all about understanding where the real value lies. I mean, if you definitely want to stay at the beaches, that's fine. You can still stay on the Northern Beach, but you could look further along, like DY, keep going north kind of thing, to try and avoid those higher prices. But there's also opportunity if you're moving to Sydney and trying to be within that proximity of the city, to get a bit of both lifestyle. And in the West, the same thing. You can look the next suburb along and potentially get much more value for your money without having to sacrifice your lifestyle. All right, Melbourne time. Get ready for some serious sister suburb action. Sounds weird. But Melbourne is definitely, another interesting case study where the prices are still, the differences is insane. Melbourne's crazy with certain suburbs because you can be literally next door to a suburb where you need to sell your firstborn to afford a home, then boom, hop across an invisible line, same distance as the city, and suddenly it's way cheaper. It's always not that obvious too. It's just Melbourne market dynamics. So for smart buyers, this is going to be pure gold. We're going to unpack the most mind-blowing Melbourne sister suburbs and work out where the value potentially lies. All right, Melbourne, let's start with the big one, the most extreme sister suburb price gap in the whole city, Canterbury versus North Altona. This is east versus west. I know people get really uppity about that, but also just looking at it fundamentally, both are 10 kilometers from the city, 10 Ks, which is pretty much where all the similarities in though. Canberra, think of it as like a blue chip eastern suburb, great period homes, massive gardens, leafy streets, super nice private schools. This is Melbourne prestige, pure and simple. It's got that quite expensive vibe. Altona North, just 10 Ks away in the west, totally different story. It's up and coming. It's cool. It's attracting young families. It's still got that more down to earth feel, less polished. And it's got great perks. It's near Altona Beach. It's getting a lot of cafes, but definitely not Canterbury. But again, you're not paying that Canterbury price. For the eastern suburb prestige, you're paying $3.1 million for the median house price. Altona North is way lower, $950,000. That's a 227% price difference, $2.1 million. You could buy 3 houses in Altona North for the price of 1 in Canterbury. Now, there's heaps more examples in Melbourne, but I think the point is it's all about understanding, Melbourne's sort of property tribes, east, west, north, south sort of situation, and realizing that those invisible lines across the city can make absolutely massive difference to your savings and what you're going to pay for your home. Try and be more strategic with what your search is. You may need to look further out from the suburbs you grew up in or you're familiar with to look at some amazing value. Here's your action plan. All right, so you're convinced, right? Sister suburbs is a smart way to do it, but how do you actually find them in your city? Don't worry, it's definitely not hard. So I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. Step 1 is define your distance or pick your commute radius. First up, you want to decide how far realistically from the CBD you're willing to live. You want to be honest with yourself with your commuter tolerance, like 10, 15 Ks. Draw a bit of a circle around the city that you're looking at. That's your starting zone. Step 2 is check different directions. Don't just focus on one side of the city. It's a pretty common mistake that like 95% of people do. Look at suburbs in your distance radius in different parts of town. I'm talking east, west, north, south. You get it. This is where those price discrepancies start to appear. Cities very rarely are priced evenly in all directions. Next step is to hunt for price gaps. Now you need to jump into the price data. Jump online, check out real estate websites, look at median house prices in the suburbs that you're looking at, and try and hunt for those gaps. Look for the suburbs at similar distances but with big price differences. That's where the sister suburb magic is hiding. Step 4, compare suburb vibes. Now you want to compare the lifestyle factors. This is a critical one. Once you've found the price gaps, dig deeper. Look at what kind of vibe the suburb has versus the pricey one. Amenities, schools, perks, transfers, what are you looking for? You can use tools like WalkScore to check this out and sort of see what's around in the immediate area, if there's lots of cafes, beaches, that sort of thing, rather than sort of trawling through Google Maps. Step 5 is get the inside scoop. Finally, you can start making some calls. I know it sounds scary, but it can be worth getting on the ground. If you're completely unfamiliar with that suburb, go talk to some local agents, get to know some people in suburbs, go to the cafe, speak to the owner, say, what's this area like? I'm just new. Tell me about it. They'll give you the inside scoop. They'll say, this place has been robbed 5 times. Okay, that's a bit scary. Check out the police stats. Or they'll say, it's amazing, like heaps of good families, lovely people in the area. It's just a good way to get an anecdotal but true representation of what the suburbs are like. And that's it. That's 5 simple steps. You can find the sister suburbs. You can help beat your frustration from getting priced out of areas that you are currently in and find new uncovered gems. By exploring sister suburbs, you can unlock massive savings, even millions, depending on the suburbs, without compromising your commute times or lifestyle. You can buy at that similar distance for way less. So start researching, look at those slightly less famous neighbors, the next train stop over, and your dream home might be a lot closer than what you think. Thanks so much, guys. At Hunter Gallo, we're the home for home buyers across Australia. We help people in all around Australia, not just Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, NT. Got some clients up there too. So if you need any help, hit us up at huntergallo.com.au. And until next time, I'll see you later.